This is the oral administration for your second 6 weeks checkpoint. The first passage is Tomato Harvest by Robert D. Sansucci. Please read through it thoroughly, take your time, and when you are ready, push play to hear the questions. Number 1. In line 24, why does the speaker say that he found sweetness and pride in the first tomato? A. He has worked hard to grow the tomatoes. B. He has planted a very sweet-tasting variety of tomato. C. Tomatoes are his favorite food to eat. D. He knows the next tomato will not taste as good. Again, feel free to push pause, review the passage, and push play when you are ready for number 2. Stanza 4 on question number 2. Stanza 4 is important to the poem because it shows F, the way the speaker feels about his brothers. G, the speaker's commitment to his garden. H, the speaker's lack of experience with gardening. J, the changes the speaker notices in his plants. Number 3, the poet uses these lines to show that the speaker feels, in the box, I felt beaten splashing out to see how little garden was left to me. A, defeated by the storm. B, confused by the effect the rain had on the garden. C, burdened by the amount of work required to manage a garden. D, concerned that the storm had not ended. Number 4, the poet organizes the poem by F, explaining the reasons for each of the speaker's actions. G, listing the growing phases of the speaker's tomato plants. H, presenting the order of events in the speaker's experience. J, noting the frequent changes in the speaker's emotions. Number 5, which line from the poem presents a problem that the speaker cannot control? A, to keep away the birds that hoped to eat. B, of pest for whom green leaves mean lunch. C, tomatoes in the strip of clay. D, one night it rained so fiercely that. That is the end of this section. Please feel free to pause, repeat questions, and note your answers where you need to write them or type them in. For section 2, for Deanna's Eyes Only, please read the passage to answer questions 6 through 11. Go ahead and push pause and push play to hear the questions when you are ready. Number 6, read the dictionary entry for the word violate. Which definition most closely matches the word violated as used in line 24? Violate. In the box, number 1, to break a rule. Number 2, to interfere with someone's rights. Number 3, to abuse something by causing damage. Number 4, to interrupt a continuous state or action. Answer choice F, definition 1, G, definition 2, H, definition 3, J, definition 4. Number 7, what does Jonathan's dialogue in scene 1 suggest about him? A, he feels bad about reading the diary. B, he misses spending time with Deanna. C, he is deeply interested in Deanna's life. D, he believes he didn't really do any harm. Number 8, what is the best summary of scene 1? F, after Deanna finds Jonathan reading her diary, the two have a conversation about his actions. Deanna feels as though Jonathan is always going through her private things without asking. G, Deanna catches Jonathan in her room reading her diary and demands to know what he is doing. Jonathan at first denies reading it, but then claims it seems like Deanna wanted him to read it. H, Jonathan is cleaning up the family room and begins reading Deanna's diary because of what she wrote in the cover. He is disappointed to find that her diary does not contain any embarrassing stories. J, Deanna and Jonathan disagree over the meaning of the words she wrote on the cover of her diary. She thinks he should not have read it, and he thinks she is guilty of false advertising. Number 9. Which statement expresses a main theme of the play? A. Writing can be a helpful way to deal with stress. B. Keeping secrets can lead to problems in a relationship. C. It is best to apologize when something wrong has been done. D. People must make time for one another in order for relationships to thrive. Number 10, from scene 1 to scene 2, the dialogue between Deanna and Jonathan becomes more F. Demanding and judgmental. G. Confused and suspicious. H. Honest and serious. J. Tense and angry. 11. How is the play's conflict resolved? Please remember that you can pause, go back in the passage, and push play at any point to repeat questions or stop to think. 11. How is the play's conflict resolved? A. Jonathan says he is sorry for what he did. B. Deanna explains that she has too many commitments. C. Deanna promises to spend more time with Jonathan. D. Jonathan suggests that Deanna keep her diary in her room. For section 3, please read The Storyteller by Jennifer Hugh. When you are ready, push play again. Pause this video and push play again to answer the questions. Number 12. What does the poet suggest about the tree in lines 24 through 30? F. It is nearing the end of its life. G. It was in danger one year during a particularly rainy season. H. It has many descriptions of events carved into its wood. J. It has witnessed many events throughout the years. 13. Which lines from the poem suggest that the tree deserves respect? A. And she changed her clothes each season, a dress of pink blossoms in the spring. B. She has scarred wood with intricate designs carved into her face. C. Her face looks out to the world, a grandmother to us all. D. Smelled the dew on summer dawns and felt the moist soil at her feet. 14. Which word best describes the speaker's attitude toward the tree? F. Appreciative. G. Cheerful. H. Sorrowful. J. Envious. Line number 15. In line 16, the word hues means A. Injuries, B. Plants, C. Expressions, D. Colors. 16. Why are the first and third lines of the poem echoed in the last stanza? Please remember that you can stop for number 14 and 15 to use a dictionary online or in person, and that on line number 16, you can push pause, go back in the passage, and come back to push play and answer the questions. Number 16 says, why are the first and third lines of the poem echoed in the last stanza? F, to show how large the tree has grown. G, to highlight that the age of the tree makes it special. H, to remind the reader of the importance of the environment. J, to explain what the reader enjoys the most about the tree's appearance. Number 17, read lines 5 through 10 from the poem. The poet uses personification in these lines most likely to show that the tree in the box. She was here as a seedling, a mere child to the rest, young and naive among her dark old elders. But now she is a guardian, tall and welcoming, gathering and shielding the children in her arms. A, protects the other trees. B, provides a warning about approaching danger. C, has become stronger as it has matured. D, prevents smaller plants from having room to grow. For section 4, The Forest Bride, please read the passage to answer questions 18 through 23. Push pause and then push play when you are ready to hear the questions. Number 18. Which line from the play best shows that Maddie and Lori think little of Vaco? F. Maddie says, my tree points north. I know of a pretty girl who lives on a farm there. G. Lori says, mine points south. A girl I have often danced with lives in that direction. H. Vaco says, my tree is pointing straight to the forest. J. Maddie says, ha, maybe you can court a wolf girl. Number 19. From the dialogue in lines 12 through 14, the reader can tell that Vaco A, is embarrassed by his choice of this bride. B, is sad because his brothers found prettier sweethearts. C, is furious because his brothers are mocking him. D, is courageous because he stands up to his brothers. Number 20. In line 21, the word begrudge means F, resent, G, doubt, H, approve, J, wish. Number 21, in lines 22 through 26, the reader learns of the father's reaction to each of the sweethearts weaving through A, Vaco's words, B, the narrator's comments, C, the words the father says, D, the stage directions. Please remember that you can pause, go back in the passage, and come back and continue the questions. You can also repeat a question. You are in full control of this oral administration video. You are trying to do your best. Number 22, all of these elements that are characteristics of folk tales are part of the Forest Bride except, please select the answer F. This was not taught during the 6 weeks. You will choose F, a magical helper. Please select that answer. Number 23, which of these sentences best reflects the theme of this play? A, just my luck that the tree I cut down didn't point toward the forest. B, Vaco didn't get the princess because of the direction the tree fell, but because he was a simple man who was kind even to a little mouse. I'm sorry, I'm going to repeat that. B, Vaco didn't get the princess because of the direction the tree fell, but because he was a simple man who was kind even to a little mouse. C, rye bread is good for hardworking folks such as us. D, Vaco, your sweetheart must be wealthy to make such fine flour. This is the end of the test. Before you click submit, please make sure that you have recorded your answers where the teacher instructed you to record the answers. You can push pause, repeat questions, look over your work, reread a passage. When you are done, please let your teacher know.